Welcome, Katherine, and thank you for joining me here at the BusyHive podcast.
Hey Chris, it's great to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
So, Katherine, here at BusyHive, we like to start every show with our guest favorite quote. It's a kind of our way to get everybody motivated and excited for the rest of the show. So, can you tell us, what's your favorite quote and why?
Okay, so I would have to say that my favorite quote is it's pretty common, but it's Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. And I love this quote because I think so often we try to get stuck in what is and isn't possible and what is and isn't reality, but we overlook the fact that our beliefs and our actions can very much dictate what is reality. So whenever I'm kind of like feeling stuck or feeling like, is this really possible? Or, can this actually be possible? Or can I actually do this? I remember this quote.
So, when you have moments when you have those exactly, thoughts and moments when, oh, I don't know if I can and possible, what do you do about that? So, how do you change that?
So first of all, I try to remind myself of all the many examples in history where people have done what seemed impossible at the time and we now take for granted. Because there are so many examples of that in our history. I mean, obviously, the automobile, Henry Ford, the flying airplanes, like there's so many things that we can do now that people 100 or 200 years ago would have thought impossible. And so I figure that's the first thing I look at. And then I also think, is it actually possible? Like I know that I can't sprout wings and fly, but I can definitely get more clients in my clinic, or I can definitely build this website. So I try to think, is it physically possible? And most of the time it is.
This is always great, exactly. Just kind of look at the past examples, and actually, many times when we stuck with the moment, well, I always think about the problems which I have now. Later on in the future, I'm just gonna be laugh at myself. You know what?
Yeah.
Why did I even worry? Why did I even do that? Or because now looking at the problems we had before, and I was like, you know what? That was just silly. That was just silly. Why did I even worried?
Yeah.
And also many times it's just kind of because what is every time is just the mindset. Okay, is a
Mhm.
mindset would stopping us, but just actually going to kind of step back for the moment, have the time to rethink stuff, and actually just kind of what, risk it and just do this first step, and we can like 99% of the time we can see, what, it was so worth it, or it wasn't that bad. And actually, what, if you don't know how to do it, you're gonna figure out on a way anyway.
Exactly. I think those are two other really important points. I think number one, if you look back at what you've already done and when you've been in similar situations, most of the time we've accomplished things like what we're trying to do now. So that can give us the confidence that we can actually do it. And the other thing to think is, what's the worst that's going to happen if it doesn't work? Like if you go somewhere to market yourself and you get zero clients, what's the worst that's going to happen? You'll feel bad for a day and then you can do it again. Most of the stuff isn't life or death. So I think it's worth trying it. And if you don't succeed, you've learned something.
Yeah, there was, I heard that something. I really, really like that. You win, like you win, but you never lose. You learned.
Yeah.
Yeah, you win or learned, never lose.
Yeah. I
That's the
think
one.
that's a great quote
Really
too.
like that. So, Katherine, in your mind, can you share with us one of the challenges as a new therapist you came about?
So I think especially in massage therapy, something that is different to other industries is there's not a clear path when you finish training to kind of get to experience status. I know most therapists, they go out and they're applying for positions, but everybody wants an experienced therapist. And it's like, well, if you're not experienced, how do you get experienced? Other industries have like internships or junior positions. And one of the ways that I address that in my clinic is we have a low cost clinic where we take newly qualified therapists and train them, and they offer lower price massage, and then I kind of work them until they can graduate. But I definitely think that's a problem in our industry, and people kind of come out and they don't really know how to get the support they need to go from newly qualified to fully booked and experienced.
Okay, so what's that the program? What's the low cost clinic program? What's that? Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah, so what it is I would take therapists who I thought had a lot of potential, but didn't have the experience or weren't where I felt I could have them offering full price offerings to my clients. And I would take them through like a 6 to 9 month program in exchange for my training. They'll work in admin in my clinic or do kind of things to support the clinic that way. And then once they finish the program of my training, which is like, this is how you do this. And it's not just like sport and remedial, although there is a lot of technical training. It's also stuff like how to talk to clients about rebooking, how to deal with difficult client situations, those kinds of things. Um, and then they'll move up into full price where they're charging more and they're making more. And then hopefully as a clinic, we also have some cohesion in what we're offering.
So it's something like a apprentice program,
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. And do you keep those students after, or do they just go in for the program and they're going to do whatever their own thing?
Yeah, so we have in the past kept them because I've only done like one or two at a time, so they would move up. But then, as is with everything, other therapists have gone through the program and then gone on to open their own clinics, which is totally fine. And I am actually looking at trying to solidify the training a little bit more so I can offer it on a wider scale maybe later this year. So I'm kind of looking into my options right there because I feel like that's something that we do need in our industry.
Okay, fantastic. So really thank you for sharing that already. And it's like here at BusyHive, we really focus on the beginning of the journeys because
Mm.
well, we can really learn from them. So can you tell us, how did you get started and how did you get to the point where are you today?
So, do you mean like as a massage therapist, from beginning massage therapist to now, or more like opening my own clinic?
Well, from everything. Yeah, how did you decide to become a massage therapist? Let's start with this one.
Okay.
So when
I'm not going to take you through my entire life story, but I did start out being exposed to massage therapy when I was like 16. I worked for a woman who had a large animal feed store, and she was also a massage therapist, and she taught me a little bit about how the body worked. And I was interested, but I didn't really think of it as like a viable career option at the time for some reason. And so I did a lot of other jobs, different careers. And then I was working in shipping in Australia and I hated my job and it was really all about the money and it felt really soulless. So I picked up some massage training. And it was there in that massage training that I realized that when you're doing massage therapy, one, it's so interesting because you learn like the body is endlessly fascinating and you'll never learn everything about the body.
agree 100%.
And two, you get to really help people. You're making a difference in the world because you're helping people feel better, whether it's relief from stress or chronic shoulder pain. You're really improving people's quality of lives. So that's kind of what ended me up into massage therapy.
Okay, and so what's happened after?
So then we moved to London after Sydney, and I was trying to decide which direction to go. And I realized that one, for life fulfillment, I preferred massage, and two, for flexibility, because I knew I wanted to have kids and I wanted to be involved with their lives. You get more flexibility with massage therapy. I decided to pursue that. So I did another qualification in the UK in sports massage, and I started working at a couple of clinics. And then I opened my own clinic because I was young and I thought I could do this. This will be easy. And then I realized that running a business is not as easy as it looks.
Oh yeah. So after opening a clinic, where the massage mentor coming into the direction?
Yeah, so massage mentor is actually, compared to my experience in massage, which I've been working as a therapist for about 10 years, I felt like there was a need, like we were talking about. I was getting all of these newly qualified therapists coming to me for the low-cost clinic, but because we have such a specific, narrow kind of approach at the clinic, very specified, targeted sport and remedial massage, I was turning people away who I thought I could help, and I thought needed the help that I had kind of learned how to give through doing it in my own clinic for so many years. So in December, this past year, so December 2017, I came up with this idea for a membership site for massage therapists that teaches them how to do all the business side stuff. So how to take care of your money and how to do marketing in a way that feels really authentic and good and not sleazy or tricky, how to manage your time, how to deal with difficult client situations. So like I have a bunch of scripts that I use if somebody doesn't show up or if somebody cancels late or if somebody's like, "Ooh, you're expensive." And I was like, I should share this with people. So I wanted to do it in a way that was cost effective. So I did it on a monthly membership fee, and a year in my membership costs about the same as a weekend CPD course, because I figure, if you can spend that for 2 or 3 days on massage training, which is super important, spending that across a year to make your time more efficient and to get more clients and to just have a better work-life balance. I think that's worth it. And then that way I can be helping massage therapists with a lot of stuff. I don't feel like there's as much training out there for that. I think there's tons of great training for body work and different techniques. But when it comes to like actually how to run your business or how to talk to clients about coming back or how to manage your time so that you're not working all hours and burnt out, there's not as much out there.
Yeah, no, Tom, totally agree. There's lots of amazing courses which teach us how to use our massage skills, but there's support about marketing in the business. Not so much, because that's a definitely big lack in the massage schools. They don't teach us. Or there's maybe 2 hours of do your leaflets or do your business cards, but not much actually. We coming out from the school and it's like, what's going on? And you end up seeing that the running, as you said, the business is not that easy.
No, and I think as well, we're particularly poorly equipped for it because most of us became massage therapists because we didn't want to focus on the money. We didn't want to focus on the business side. Like, we wanted to help people. So a lot of times we have these ideas where helping people and like making money to support yourself feels like it's against themselves instead of something that actually works together, which is one of the things that I try to work on in the membership to help people switch their mind around that a little bit.
And exactly that's why you're going to take us to the big question interview, because I want to bring you, because I met you on a MTI conference where I had a small chat, and I love the idea. That's why I thought I'd want to bring you to the podcast to get to know you, get to know your journey and the better idea what's Massage Mentor, because I think it's a great mentoring program which is going to bring a lot of benefits for the massage therapists. And BusyHive is exactly about this, to bring the people or programs, products, and therapists, which they're out there, but not many people know about it. So the Massage Mentor, you already explained, how did it started and what it is. So from all of this, so what's the secret of success? What from exactly those people who want just to help people? How we can be better business owners, or better to have this success in a business?
So obviously this is a very multi-layered answer, right? If I could probably talk to you for hours about how to be successful in business, so I will do my best to be succinct. But I think one thing that we forget is that it is important for us to know what we want. A lot of times we go out and we look at what other people are doing and we try to copy what they're doing because they seem successful. But the people who are most successful are people who are genuine to themselves and know what they want, and then also know what clients want and can match that together, right? So if you love helping people drift off and relaxing after a hard day, then you want to make sure that you're marketing yourself in a way that makes sense for that. Whereas if you're a little bit more deeper in your work, or you're more specific, or you want people to do rehab exercises, because the truth is, if you try to fit yourself to what you think other people are doing to be successful, you're never going to be happy, and you're never really going to give your clients a good experience because you're miserable. And even if you put on a smile and pretend like you're not, people will pick up on that. Obviously, being really, really good at what you do is important. I think sometimes people go into like, I want to be good at business, but it's like, if you're not offering an amazing experience to your clients, then you're not going to be good at what you do, which ties back into knowing what you want. Because if you love what you're doing, people will feel it, and that's going to make the experience better for them. If you hate what you're doing, people will also feel that, and they won't want to come back. So I think those are two of the things. And I think also, like, don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to get help from other people. I have this free mini mentoring series that I offer to people so they can get on my mailing list. And one of the first lessons I have is, it is so stupid that we would never try to figure out how to build a car every generation. We would never try to figure out how to make a plane or build a house. Like, oh, let's start all over again and do it through trial and error. But a lot of people who start their own businesses, whether it's in massage therapy or other things, they don't go to other people to have experience and learn from them. And there's a ton of free information out there as well as paid. They're like, I'm just going to figure it all out by myself. And the amount of time that it takes to learn everything again through trial and error versus learning from people who've been there before, that's going to speed up your timeline so much. And I think the last thing is just really be persistent. Success doesn't happen immediately. I think everybody expects it to happen a lot more quickly than it does. I've heard something like there's like a magic 5-year rule in business that in 5 years, everything just gets really easy. And I did kind of see that in my clinic, but that doesn't mean that you can't have success before 5 years, but don't expect it to take 3 months. Don't expect it to take 6 months. It's like every single time you start something new, like I've opened 3 locations with my clinic, and like the second and third one, I was like, oh, I've done this before. It's going to be so easy. And it's the same thing. You're starting fresh somewhere new. You've got to build up your client base. You've got to build your awareness. And so be patient with yourself and recognize that it's going to take a little time.
That's especially the last point is we have to always think that it's a marathon, not a sprint. And it just takes time. We always want to, okay, I want to be fully booked next week. I want to, this and that. And even with the techniques and experience, I want to know now. I want to do this.
Yes.
This, I seen, when someone sees someone and he fixed me and it's like, I want to do this now.
Yes.
Well, have you seen he practiced 17 years? It tells something. So it's very important to, if things takes time and, how much you put in, then that much you take out. Really, really good points. So the question you already mentioned, you mentor people how to say things, how to help them. So I picked up because it will be really interesting. So once you see clients and everything, you're telling them prices and say, oh no, you know what, you're really expensive. What's your answer?
So I think the first thing is you need to be aware of how your prices compare to where you are so that you know how to answer that. Because, for example, where we are, when I started, I was a little bit more expensive than everyone in my area. Now prices have kind of gone up, so I'm due for a price increase again. But, if you, for example, charge £50 an hour and you know that half of the people near you charge what you charge or less and half charge what you charge or more, you can just say, well, this is generally what the market this is what the market is for massage in the area. There are people who charge less than me and there are people who charge more than me, but you're welcome to look for someone who you feel fits your budget and what you're looking for. Like, I don't tend to force people in. I think if they go, well, why are you more expensive than so-and-so? I might say, well, these are the ways that we are different from other people. So might be why we charge this compared to someone else. But you are also welcome to go try someone else and try us and compare who you think is better. Most of the time it's going to be like a 5 or 10 pound difference. Yeah. If it's more than that, you can kind of explain why you've done so much, or you can say, you know what, I have thought very carefully about my pricing and this is what I believe makes sense for my business and what I offer. But you are totally welcome to try someone else who you feel is more within your price range. Because I don't believe in trying to trick or cajole or convince people to come in to see us. Like, if you've had to convince someone to come to a session with you, you're already on the back foot.
That's even worse, yeah.
Yeah. So if you just say, like, if you can say, this is what other people charge, or this is why I do this, or just simply, I have done my research and I believe this is fair for what I offer, but you're welcome to go and see the other people who you feel fit your budget. And that's fine, because half the time these people are, going to Benidorm 3 times a year. And it's like, if you're going to, like, nothing wrong with going on holiday or nothing wrong with spending £1,000. Yeah, nothing wrong with Benidorm. I'd say, because that's a real life experience. I had a client who I was too expensive for her, but I think she went to Benidorm like 5 times a year. But, people can spend their money on what they want. And I think if you just learn how to not take it personally and be strong in your pricing and answering something like that, it helps you feel like the people who come to see you are going to be the right fit for you.
I think the really important is thing to educate the clients, but it's exactly as you said, people going to spend for great TV, new iPhone and everything. Somehow, I don't know why our health is always on the second place. I don't know why, and even if they're in a lot of pain or a lot of problems, they will still choose to go for, yeah, as you said, the holidays or something.
I had a client who he could not turn his neck, and he came to me for a session, and he was way better at the end of the session. I explained you need a number of sessions to get better, and he booked a follow-up, and then he canceled with me, and he said, because you know what, I'm going to go out this weekend, so I need that money to spend on going out. And I was like, okay, so you can't turn your head, but you'd rather spend 60 pounds on getting drunk than dealing with. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. You are not in a place for me to help you right now. I will find other people who are.
So how do you help therapists, and how do you mentor people?
Do you mean through the program or at the
Yeah.
clinic? Program. So the way that my massage mentor is set up is
So
that there.
is there any different way in the clinic and the mentoring program?
Yeah, because in the clinic, there's a lot more one-on-one time, or we kind of do in-person group meetings, whereas my massage mentor is almost exclusively online. Although I am hoping to be able to do some in-person workshops in like the next 12 months, but they're not planned yet, so I
Sure.
won't say that I'm doing them yet. Um, in my massage mentor, so first of all, we have the training. So I do training, so they're available all the time. I record it, it's online. Most of them have a worksheet, so they do count for CPD points. You can download the audio and listen to it, or I also put a transcript because I know people like to process things differently. I take requests on what people look for. I release a new training, like 1 to 2 new trainings a month. And then we also have monthly calls or co-working calls. So you can come online, I'll be there live, and you can either show up and just do work, because obviously working for yourselves, we tend to put stuff off that we need to do. So if you show up and are like, okay, I'm going to work on this for an hour, you can just sit and work during the co-working call. Or if you have a question, that's where I will like personally be there answering. And we usually do about 1 of those a month. Sometimes an extra one, depending on what my schedule looks like. And then also something new that I'm introducing is live workshops. So where we'll be online working through something like planning your social media for the month, or creating a system to track your money, or creating your marketing. So for example, in the membership, I have a series called Your Ideal Client series, and it just tells you what it is and why you need one, how to create your own ideal client based on what you like and the kind of clients you like to work with, and then how to design your next marketing, your next 1 to 3 marketing activities based on your ideal client, right? So everything's in alignment, and how to do an interview series with them. So one of the things that I'll be doing later this year is we'll do a live workshop around that series to help people work through. So if you're trying to decide your next 1 to 3 marketing priorities, you can go, okay, I'm here, but can I have help with this? So you can get some live feedback, and then those will be available after. And we also have accountability in the group so we have a private forum in my massage mentor where you can ask questions as much as you want. But there's an accountability board, and every week I'll put up on Friday, tell me what your 3 goals are for next week and how you did on your 3 goals for last week. And so people choose their priorities, and people who participate in those accountability, in the calls, who comment in the forum, they get put into a prize draw every month. So like a reward for being accountable, and prizes include
Nice.
like a 1-to-1 mentoring session with me. Yeah, I was really happy with this idea. 1-to-1 mentoring with me, or like I have a designer that I work with, so she'll do these little mini website reviews, or creating a graphic for you for your social media that you need, or something sent to your house, like a little gift. So people can choose from like 1 of 3 if they win, and we kind of do as many in proportion to how many members we have. So as it gets bigger, we'll do right now we do 1 or 2, we'll do 5 and 10 and so on.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you. So what mistakes do you see the new therapists do, and how would you advise them to correct them?
So I think the biggest mistake that people make, but massage therapists especially, is they think they can help everyone. Mm-hmm. So they market to everyone. And there's a really well-worn phrase in the online marketing and business world, and that's, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one. And I think most of us have this experience ourselves where we might go and we see this really generic like website that's like, I help people lose weight and gain muscle and, change their eating, blah, 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 blah. And you're like, yeah, okay, I don't care. But then you're like, are you a busy mom of 3 who has trouble eating right because you're always vacuuming up your kids' tater tots? And you go, oh my God, that is me. That is me. I need this program, right? So we need to be the same in our marketing as massage therapists. And that's not to say that we exclude people, but like at my clinic, we tend to market to runners and desk workers. Like those are our two main things. And we get a ton of people from other areas as well. We have musicians, we have people who do MMA, we have people play handball, professional golfers. So you will still get that variety, but if you get very specific on your messaging, you'll get more clients who you like to work with, who you get better results for, and you'll get more people because they will be like, okay, I want this person because they know what has to do with me.
Oh, fantastic. So how do you decide, or how do you choose, the niche?
So the way that I like to do it is a little bit different. And this is like taken from the ideal client series that I've got in the mentoring. But what I say is most of us, by the time we graduate or by the time we're trying to do something like this, we've been practicing for a while. Either we did case studies while we trained, or we have been practicing for a while in various places. So you've probably had clients that you liked and clients that you didn't like. So I recommend that people think of like their top 3 favorite clients and just write down everything about them that they liked, whether it was their personality, the job that they had, the problem that they had, just anything about them that you think, okay, this is really why we got along. And then when you do that for all 3 people, you'll see a pattern, you'll see a similarity. And so then you can kind of do your marketing towards that. And if your 3 people are very different, it is okay to have different kind of target clients that you're working for, but you just do one at a time. So you kind of go, okay, I'm going to do this one first, and then I'm going to do this one, and then I'm going to do this one. And like a great example of this was there was a PT working at the gym where we're located in Layton. And it was the same PT, and he had 3 postcards, and one of them was like getting fit for brides, and it was very bride oriented. And one of them was building muscle for like, you're a skinny guy and you want to build muscle. And I think the last one was weight loss or something. And you wouldn't have known that it was the same PT from the cards, which I don't really recommend because I think you should have some consistency in your branding. But like a bride would have picked up that bride one, but there's no way she would have picked up that other one, right? Like, so by getting clear on who you're serving, sorry, I'm getting off topic. So that's to answer your question, how you would decide on your ideal client.
So you basically, having a list of kind of ideal people or person or what's it called? Pathology you like to work with, or condition you work with, or either it's like I like work with shoulder or I like work with knees. And kind of you narrowing this down, and that's how you market yourself out.
Yeah, and so then you would look for, how do I connect with these people? So if you realize that you like working with new moms because maybe you were a new mom once, you relate to it, maybe you're particularly interested in what they struggle with, then you can do something that targets them, maybe do some client research. That's another thing you can do is client interviews. And then based on that, you might go, okay, I'll go to local kids groups and leave my flyers. I'll go to cafes that are baby friendly and leave my flyers. Or if you realize that you like to work with runners, then you would go to running clubs and try and build relationships with them and emphasize what you do that helps their problems, so that when they're looking at people, they'll be like, oh, this is the person I go to because they work with runners.
Oh, because they can relate exactly to the problem, what they do. Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So I'm going to ask you another question, which is kind of, lots of massage therapists going to really be interesting and good, because lots of people struggle with this, is rebooking. Okay. How we go about this? What are the tips to get the clients come back?
To rebook. Okay. So this is also something I actually wrote. I have an entire guide that I give to my therapist with a workbook to do this as a digital training. It's one of my favorite subjects. So I think the first thing you have to do when you're approaching the rebooking conversation is switch your mindset around it, because you are not trying to get someone to come back, right? You're not trying to convince someone to come back. You are trying to create a treatment plan with that client that is going to help them reach their goal while taking into consideration their preferences and educating them about how the body works, right? So a lot of massage therapists, they're so afraid to have like the sales conversation, the rebooking conversation, that they wait until the very end to start talking about it. Usually by the time the client's thinking, I gotta go, they're trying to get dressed, they're too rushed to even think about it. Or they try to do it too early when the person doesn't even know if they like you. So it's like, well, I'm not going to talk about rebooking when I've not even felt you massage me. So the first thing is you wait about 10 or 15 minutes when you've gotten clear on their goals. And I know you have to tweak this a little bit if you're a relaxing massage, but this is what we do for sports massage. And you just say, you know, have you thought about what you'd like to do after today? Because some clients have had experience with massage, they know the drill, they know how the body works, they have a plan. Other clients, they have no idea, they've never had massage before, they don't know that it takes more than one session. And that opening question gives them a way to tell you how much they know. Like they might say, oh, well, I know that this is going to take about 5 sessions because I've had this kind of problem before, so that's what I was thinking. Other people will be like, oh, well, I just thought you could tell me. And so that's your opportunity to educate them. It takes more than one massage to fix it. This is the intervals that we recommend. Here are the choices that people usually choose. And so once you kind of explain to them, these are the options, people either have a series of massages close together to fix a specific problem, or they have like a monthly maintenance because they don't have anything specifically wrong, but they want to support themselves, or they just come as and when, then you can say, do you fall into one of these categories? What do you have a preference? Or if somebody's presenting, like they can't turn their head, you might be like, so you'd probably be in the specific problem category where we'd recommend a series of weekly sessions, but ultimately it's up to you.
Yeah.
What would you like to do going forward? And by educating the client on how the body works and giving them all the information when they have 20 or 30 minutes to think about it, then at the end of the session, you can say, do you know what you'd like to do after today? Because you've already had that conversation. And so I think that's kind of like a big level overview of how I teach people to do it, because then people are like, okay, I understand that I need more than one session. So even if they decide not to book then and there, they're like, they understand that if it comes back in 2 days, it's not because the massage didn't work. And most of the time they will rebook because you've also presented yourself as an expert.
Now, this is really great because it's many times exactly the problem what new massage therapists have, that they always wait to the last. Actually, the rebooking process is already starting as soon as they come in. The way we express and explain our expertise and in the process, which we need to build in the first place, or have a better idea. To, you know, exactly for them to come back. And obviously, as you explain, it's about depends of the issue and their goal. So it's very, very important in the beginning of the session, ask them what their goal is, what they want to achieve, what do they would like from the, you know, massage session today. Yes,
100%. That is super important.
So, Katherine, I'm going to still pick your brain because we have lots of great tips from you. So can you share as one of us exactly five tips for just, you know, better business? So there's 5 quick tips, you know, new massage therapist, or even not new massage therapist, the one who are already in a long time run but can benefit from. So what would they be?
Okay, so some of these we already have touched on, but I think so. I'm not ordering these in importance because they're all very important. But I think one of the hardest things as a massage therapist, especially if you're new or struggling to get clients, is to develop what's called an abundance mindset. And so it's a lot around like the mindset world and self-development world. It's a really common phrase, but it's essentially that there is enough for everyone to go around. So if you send a client because you don't think you can help them to someone else, you're not really losing. There are plenty of clients, right? It's very easy for us to see other people as competitors and feel like if they get somebody, we're losing them. But if you really sit down and think about how many clients you need to be fully booked and how many people, potential clients there are in your vicinity, even if you're in a really small town, because most people can drive, there's a lot more people than you actually need. So if you can start to see things as, it doesn't matter if I don't get this client because there will be others that I can help better, then it changes the way you interact with people, and people can pick up on that like desperation, graspy, oh, please don't, please stay, please come every week because I don't have anyone else. They can feel that. So abundance mindset, I would say. I think the other thing is to be really clear on what you want. I think a lot of times people ask for help on what the next step is, but they haven't identified what they want. So how can you figure out what your next step is if you don't know where you're going? It's like saying, I'm going to get in a car. Can you give me directions to anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So if you first figure out what you want and just accept that it might change, you know, you might say, okay, my goal now is to have 25 hours a week fully booked mobile massage, and you work in mobile massage for 6 months and you go, actually, I'd rather have my own clinic. It's okay if it changes. But if you don't at least have some idea of what you want to be achieving or your destination, then you can't figure out what to do.
Yeah.
I think also asking for help is really important. So like there are free Facebook groups that you can go in and get help from. Obviously there's membership like mine that you can sign up to, but there's a ton of help around, and most therapists do want to help other therapists. There's local support groups that are run by professional bodies. So get the help that's out there so you're not having to figure out everything yourself, because otherwise it takes too much time. So that's 3. I think 4 is, don't feel like it's selfish to know what you like. I think a lot of times people feel like I need to do what other people want me to do in order to be a good person or a good massage therapist. But as we kind of talked about before, if you know what you enjoy doing, the experience other people have with you will be better. So it's okay to be a little bit selfish. It's okay to kind of identify the things that you enjoy doing and do less of the things that you don't. And I think that's only 4.
Come
I need
on.
5.
You have one more in you.
What am I going to do? I can give you, okay, so I guess the last thing is for productivity, write down what you're going to do at the beginning of every week and don't do anything else until you do those things, right? So if you figured out what you want to do, if you know what you like, if you have an abundance mindset, none of that's going to work if you actually don't get things done. So to prioritize things to get done, figure out what are the top 5 things that are going to get you closer to where you're trying to get to, and do those first in your week. And then you'll make a ton of progress.
Fantastic, and that was really amazing tips. Thank you. I completely agree with all of them. Well, the first one is collaboration, not competition. I always said there's enough people around it, is to we can treat, to share. Even I worked in busy city in Bristol, and there was we have a great college of massage which we produce about let's say 15 or 20 therapists twice a year, and many more, and obviously not all of them were from the city, but there was there's lots of but the city amount of people are around there is just incredible. There's always enough people for everyone.
Yeah, I think that's really important, and I say this to my therapist a lot, and I really like this. It's like a little phrase that I made up, is that as a massage therapist, we aren't waiters, we're sommeliers.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, do you know what a sommelier is?
Yeah.
Not everybody associates
the one who drink wine. Well,
the wine, right?
No stuff about wine, yeah.
So when you go into a restaurant, the sommelier is the one who's like, you go, okay, this is what I'm ordering. What wine should I have with it? And he's like, okay, well, or she, like, this is the wine that works best with this, blah, blah, blah. A waiter takes your order and comes back and gives it to you. So if I would like to have a better word than sommelier, honestly, but that's what I've got.
No, because sommeliers are the ones who try and spit the wine, which is always, why do they spit? It's so good.
And so when people come to us, we don't want to be like, you say, my neck hurts, rub my neck. You want to go, okay, your neck hurts. Let me show you how we can work that's going to make the improvement to your neck last longer than just rub where you're pointing.
Fantastic, and they're really, really great points. So really, really thank you for giving us some advice and sharing some of your expertise. So what's the future plans for Massage Mentor?
So at the moment, I'm just doing a few things to help build awareness for it. So like this podcast, I've also, I'm in the process of creating a series of short guides that I'm going to be publishing on Amazon, in Kindle form and ebooks. One to help massage therapists, but also to kind of build awareness for my massage mentor. And I'm working on the first one right now, which should be out probably the end of August, called Massage Therapist Guide to Money, or at least that's the working title. And then I'll be doing one for marketing and one for client experience. And they're just going to be these short guides to help people. And then, to continue to serve the members in the membership. I mean, it's really fun helping people achieve their goals as massage therapists, which is why I wanted to do it. And so to continue to create these workshops and to continue to create the trainings for people. And as I mentioned, I may be going around and doing some in-person workshops in different places around the UK this year.
Fantastic. So, Katherine, the next question is for you exactly, because lots of our listeners are either just starting up or they're practicing this business for a while, but they're struggling to work on the building the business. And you are the great person to exactly ask this question. So, if you woke up tomorrow morning, but you still possess all the experience you currently and knowledge you currently have, but your business completely disappears, so you have no free clinics, they're gone, whoosh, and that's going to force you to start from scratch. So, what would you do? How would you start it?
So, I think the first thing I would do is I would get, this is a theme, get really clear on what I wanted, get really clear on who I wanted to work with, and just Google, look what is available around me, what kind of clubs are around that work with those people that I want to work with. Obviously, we're assuming that I've found a location, because sometimes it can be hard to find a location, but set up my clinic so that I am marketing to those people that I really want to see, and reach out to people locally to make connections and build relationships to find the people who I can be helping.
Really, really great. So, listen, the next question is all about you. So we have freestyle time. So we give you a moment to promotion our guest. So here you go.
Okay, well, I think I would say that I would love it if the people listening either would like to sign up for my free, I have this mini mentoring messages series, which are mini mentoring emails to your inbox. It's usually twice a month, sometimes 3 times a month. And then you'll also be kept up to date with the different things that we're offering. And it's totally free. And the code to go there will be in the show notes, I think. But also it's bit.ly, so bit.ly/MMM truth for the truth about massage therapy. Or if people would like to try my massage mentor for just £1 for the first month, the coupon code, if you go to checkout, is truth12. So you just input the coupon code truth12 into bit.ly, so bit.ly/sign-up MMM, if you'd like to test out my massage mentor for yourself. And also, if you're interested in knowing when we're doing any workshops, live or online or in person, or any guides are out, I'm going to be updating everybody on the mentoring messages email. So that's how you would find out about that.
Fantastic. So, Katherine, the next we have our Tag a Guest game. So we're going to ask you, who do we admire and why? And can you help us get recommendation for upcoming interview with me here at BusyHive.co.uk podcast?
Yes, of course. So I thought really hard about this one, because obviously there are a ton of very talented body workers and massage therapists. But the person that I'm recommending is a woman called Alison Harvey. And she's I believe she's the head of the Brawl Institute in the UK, which is an international institute that teaches people how to do visceral manipulation. They run workshops in London and in Scotland. And she is a very talented, I believe she also does chiropractic and kinesthesiology. But I've learned visceral manipulation from her. I think she's an excellent teacher. She's very passionate about what she does. And I think that if you are a massage therapist, especially if you're an experienced massage therapist and you feel like there's a bit of a hole as to what to do next, visceral manipulation is definitely a good place to go. And she's an excellent teacher to learn it from.
Fantastic, thank you. So, Alison, if you're listening, we're going to be in touch with you very, very soon. Thank you. This was really great, Katherine. So, thank you really for joining me here at BusyHive Podcast, and you gave us lots of great advice, and it's definitely something to think about it. So, let's just finish the show with the last piece of advice for BusyHive listeners, and then we're going to go say goodbye. If you had just one thing for our listeners to take out of this episode, what would it be?
So first of all, thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun, and I'm really glad that we got to do this. But I would say, and this is probably a theme, but just a couple of things. Number one, be patient with yourself, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. For some people, it seems like it does, but I can promise you almost everybody is working for a long time before they get to where you're starting to notice them. And also clarity. Like, don't be afraid to be clear on what you want. Sometimes we feel selfish because we're naming what we want. And sometimes we feel like if we don't ask for what we want, then we can't be disappointed if we don't get it. But if you don't have clarity about what you're aiming for, it's much, much harder to get there. And you can always change it later. So that's my advice.
Thank you. So how can we connect with you online?
So I've got, if you want to see what my clinic website looks like, because I always like looking at other people's clinic websites, my clinic website is laytonsportsmassage.com. My massage mentor is mymassagementor.co.uk. And I actually always really love hearing from people what they're struggling with, because I use it for inspiration for my massage mentor. So if you'd like to send me an email at Katherine, which is KATHERINE at mymassagementor.co.uk, I'm very happy to try and point you in the direction of some resources, or if it's a short question, answer it, or just, anything that you want to share about what you're struggling with as a massage therapist.
No, thank you, Katherine. It was a great to have you in here. You really have been a star of this episode and gave us lots of advice. And definitely for sure we're going to bring you again in the BusyHive podcast, because there's lots of things we can use your expertise to bring some wise words and ideas to our listeners. So thank you really for joining me, and we're going to speak very, very soon.
Okay, great. Thanks, Chris.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.